Woke up this morning, it's pretty frigid, negative 30 Fahrenheit. We're gonna get the truck plugged in for a couple hours because we gotta go pick up a special package. Start right up.
We've got our special package, and you'll never believe what we ordered. It is a cheese wheel. Oh gosh, and I can tell that this is it because it feels round and it feels very heavy. So we're gonna take it home and open it up. Okay, so let's see what it looks like. It looks like a cheese wheel. Look at the, oh my gosh, you smell it already? There you have it. This is a 𝐩𝐿 cheese wheel. So I actually never got this cheese very much in my life. It was more a cheese that Eric would get with his family where we used to live in Sonoma County, California. I tried it a few times when I was an adult and it is amazing. And so this farm has all the cows and they make the cheese. And when you go in, you'll see all the like cheese wheels in the back. So I'm really excited for this. It's an 11-pound wheel. And we're gonna be able to have cheese all winter now. This is gonna go down in the Crawlspace. I think that will be the perfect place to store it, and we'll just take big chunks out of it as we want it. And I was pleasantly surprised at the shipping price, which is the reason we got it all the way up here in Alaska, because I know it seems kind of odd to ship a cheese wheel to yourself. So this is gonna go down in storage. Handmade from our own cow's fresh raw milk with heat treatment, rennet, cultures, and salt. Aged over 60 days. Oh my gosh, it's so soft. Just like I remember it. There's something amazing about this cheese. Eric insisted that we cut it into it now and try it. So we got a little wedge to try for today. Sorry. That's really good.
Got our firewood all stocked up on the deck, and it has been cold out. So all that wood we just put out there, I mean, it's like bone dry wood, probably a little too dry, and it's not lasting us very long. With these temperatures, it's only lasting a couple days. So what I do is I bring some of that in here in this little tin here, and that'll last like the evening. And the wood stove has been running non-stop for a while now, and we do bring kindling in because we have to restart this. If I don't get up in the middle of the night and throw some logs on, the fire will go out, and we'll have to get it going again in the morning. You can tell by the boots and gloves and just things around here that the wood stove is a huge part of running this cabin. It is pretty much our only heat source. And this cabin's a little bit different than our old cabin because here we actually have plumbing. So in our crawl space, we have water lines going to our shower, sink, and our septic, things like that. So we're gonna do a little project today and see if we can make this wood stove even more functional for us. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna install a fan that blows hot air from up in this area of the cabin to down below in the crawl space. And as it is right now, when the cabin is warm, let's see, it's about 74 degrees up here right now. The heat does go down into the crawl space and it keeps it above freezing. So we've already been well below zero here, and I think the crawl space usually sits around 40 degrees, but we're just getting into winter and it's gonna get a lot colder. So we're gonna use this little fan that I have here, and this is a 4-inch inline tube fan, and I went with low wattage. It's 28 watts, and this is a 2500 RPM fan. Let me plug it in real quick. I'll show you how it works. And that is it. I mean, it's pretty powerful. It's not like crazy powerful, but I think it'll move the air around pretty good for us, and it's gonna suck the air in through here. So what we're gonna do is, near the wood stove, right about there, I'm gonna have to go underneath and we're gonna cut a hole, and we're gonna put a floor vent in the ground like this so it looks kind of clean. And then underneath in the crawl space, we'll mount the fan like this. The fan's gonna suck air through the vent, and hopefully we'll use this ducting and a little T, and we'll be able to disperse the air around our crawl space. I know where that is down there. So I was thinking it's gonna go closer to the wood stove, the better, right? Hey. Well, unfortunately for Bo, every time we come over here, we got to move him. So we move him to the middle of the room because this is going to take a little while. This is the hatch to get down underneath. There's a technique to it, and it is extremely heavy. The subfloor in this cabin has, I mean, look at that. It's 2 huge, thick pieces of wood. So we move this out of the way. Okay, be back. Not gonna be easy. It's right where the septic goes out too. This will mount about here. We're gonna have to kick it off the wall a little bit because we got all this foam here. All right, let's see where our hole landed. So the vent's gonna go right there. Talk about a perfect spot. Let's see, I don't think it's gonna matter what way we put this, but something like that.
That's pretty good looking, huh?
That's really good looking. The only thing we have to do is we have to get that cord through this to be able to plug it in. It's looking good. So the fan is lining up absolutely perfect with our vent. There's not a lot of room down here, and I'm sitting on a rock. So let's get this thing put up in here real quick. So what we're gonna do, because we want this to circulate around the crawl space, and to give you an idea of the size, our cabin is 25 feet by 20 feet. So it's 500 square feet. The crawl space is the exact same size. We have some 4-inch ducting, and we've got the clamps for it right here. This is actually 8 feet. It extends. So we're gonna do a little section, I don't know, maybe like a half a foot or something. We're gonna come up and we're gonna go into a T. That way we can blow some of the air that way, and we can blow some of the air that way. And I'll show you why we're trying to get it to flow so good. We've got a little bit of frost forming down here because it's so cold. So you gotta cut it, and then you gotta snip it. Oh my back.
I think it is. Oh yeah, I feel it. Your thing fell off, but yeah, it is blowing air.
Well, she's in, and I was able to cut this vent enough to bend it out of the way to get our plug up. We usually have a lot of stuff right here, so when you plug this thing in, you just come right here and you can plug it into the outlet, or we've had this sitting in the Connex for a little while, and we're gonna try it out. It's like a remote controlled plug. So you plug this in, you plug the fan into the bottom, so that'll sit there, and you have a little on and off switch. You hit on. There we go, look at, you hit off. This is pretty cool, so let's hit it on again and see how it works. See it? Little green light comes on. Well, it's definitely not the quietest thing in the world. I mean, it's not really loud, but you can definitely hear it when it's on. I'm okay with it, and I can feel the air being sucked in. I mean, all the way up here. So it's pretty powerful. It has to be sucking in some pretty warm air. It is like 3.5, 4 feet from our fireplace. And the plan is with this is to just use it as needed. So we don't really need it today. It is -18 Fahrenheit outside right now, and I think things down there, they're perfectly fine, but we will use it, I'm guessing, when it gets extremely cold. And maybe if we're going on a trip or something and we're gonna leave the house for a few days and we want it to be really warm in here. And I don't know, maybe other times, but I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out, and we will see how it works for us. I mean, the temperature's warm right there.
Cabbage is hanging on to dear life down there. Let's check our time. We are already warming up down there. So we're gonna close the hatch or the lid, and I was just grabbing some produce that we need. It is 43 degrees down there. I haven't seen it be that warm in weeks, and I mean, it's dropped down to about 41, which makes me and Eric think that we definitely needed the fan, being that we're coming into January, the coldest month. And we did actually have a little bit of an incident just recently where our heater up here wasn't working correctly when we went on a trip, and it dropped down to 37 down there, which is way too close to freezing. We have a lot of canned food down there, hundreds of jars, and we also have other things down there that we cannot have it freeze. That would be really bad. So I know it may look like the crawl space isn't that much fun to have or go down there. We actually go down there quite a bit. We probably go down like once a week, I feel like. It is amazing. We love having it, or should I say I love having it. And we haven't had something like this in the past, so only about half of it is full. And again, it is majority food, but it's just so awesome to have this dark, cool place to put that kind of stuff. I can put ferments down there. I can even put vegetables. So we bought some produce a long time ago, several months ago. We got some potatoes from a few different farms, and they're storing wonderful down there. I'm even gonna have some potatoes for seed potatoes, which is awesome. So we can plant those in the spring. And we got carrots from 2 different farms. One was local, and they look amazing. So we picked these up. Eric's telling me about 3 months ago we got these carrots, and you can just see they're so beautiful still. They're firm. They've got the dirt on them. I have them stored in some wood shavings, so when we got them I kind of layered them and put wood shavings. These are from another farm. They had been cleaned a lot more, but they're also still storing very well. And what I do is I just peel these ones because the skins are not looking as pretty, but these ones look so good. They're at the bottom, and I just pulled them up to check on them. You can see the tops are growing. And this cabbage is still hanging on. I mean, we can get these layers off on the outside and it's still totally going to be edible. This is also several months old, so I'm really impressed with the Crawlspace's ability to store vegetables like that. We have had a root cellar in the past, and it worked fantastic, mainly because they have such a high humidity. And this floor as well, there's nothing like down. There's some Reflectix and some like black plastic, but it is the ground underneath. So we're in winter, it's not really moist. All of that is locked up in the ground. But come spring and summer, we have a fairly higher humidity down there. It's 66 right now. So again, that's not even bad. Ideally, we'd be closer to 90 for root vegetables, but it seems like the 60 to 70 is working for them. Obviously, it's very cold, which is great, and it is completely dark, which is necessary for long-term storage of potatoes. This area also works out really well when we go on grocery trips. I buy a lot of produce for Bandit, and I can just store it down here for months at a time before I have to cook it. It will just store really well. Squash, you know, store-bought sweet potatoes, apples, things like that. Onions, I even buy onions at the store, you know, in bulk, and then they just store fantastic down here. We're gonna leave that fan going for a little while. We're gonna put the hatch on and get Bo back to his resting spot.
68 right there by the floor. Quick little dinner tonight because the chickens have been cranking out the eggs. So this is going to use 12 eggs. They're almost like little meat muffins. We have moose meat, potatoes, carrot, onion, and some of our canned mushrooms. Put these in the oven for a couple minutes. And we also got a little bit of our new cheese in there.
Do you know what this looks like here? Glass art. We're on a hike this morning, or shall I say midday. We wanted to take a little walk around the property. We are on a nice little plot of land here, and Eric and I hope to put some sort of like winter summer trail in the future, but I do think it's going to take us a long time to develop it. So we're just walking today mainly to look for wildlife tracks or signs and hopefully set up some trail cameras. There was a grouse here not too long ago, but thankfully for him, we missed it. So he's off in the woods now. There's no tree cover here.
That's it. Came through here. They like to take the areas underneath trees and stuff, it looks like, probably because the snow's not as deep, huh? Right when I go around this log, I'm cutting right. I think we found a cool place to set our first trail camera, and we've seen all kinds of animals on our trail cameras on our, I guess we haven't even been at this property a year. So we've seen fox, coyote, grouse, rabbit, squirrel, crow, caribou. We've seen a lot of cool things. These trail cameras are amazing, and I've probably mentioned these ones before, but these are Browning trail cameras we use, and we use them with lithium batteries, and they work extremely well. So we're gonna use this chair here, and I'm gonna set this one really low because Arielle just spotted what looks to be where a squirrel lives. So there's a bunch of holes dug in underneath these trees and stuff. Let's see if we can get that little bugger on video. These take video and picture. I'm gonna put this one on video. It can take 507 videos, 100%. Got a nice clearing. We're going to set our second and final trail camera. We saw some rabbit tracks. There was fox tracks right back there, but we picked this area mainly because of the clearing and this cool tree that kind of falls over where it could be a trail. And we're going to take some fishing line, and last time or sometime this spring when we hunted some grouse, we saved the skin. You know, there's some bones in there and some feathers. So what we're going to do is we're going to hang this up on the fishing line as kind of like a lure. Maybe we'll attract in like a predator. It'll see it blowing in the wind, and we'll get it on the trail camera. Hopefully it's not heavier than that. See if we get anything, right? I know exactly where we are.
You do? I bet we're kind of near the chicken coop. Because I see some quaking aspen over there, and that's usually where...
Over at the Quonset hut, we're working on a little project this afternoon, and although snow is not a problem for this building, we did want to build some sort of snow removal tool, almost like a snow rake, in case like one year we just get like dumped on. And we haven't finished it. The plan is this spring to buckle down, get things done in here, and have it be actually done and be heated. But for now, we've just been using it as storage. It's nice to have the concrete, keep snow off our things, and I'm excited for this over here. I just took the box off it the other day so I could take a look at it again. And this is gonna be one of the heat sources. We're gonna have the in-floor heating, and then we're also gonna have this big coal furnace made by DS Machines, I think is the company. So I was checking this thing out the other day. I'm pretty excited. Hopefully next year, or a year from now, we'll be out here in a nice heated shop. So what we got is a snow rake. We've got a couple of these, we really like them, and we want to not use the plastic piece that it comes with because the Quonset hut, it's kind of like this corrugated metal. We're gonna try to take this broom head and cut it to fit inside those grooves. So we can extend this and we can kind of pull the snow off of it. I just don't know how we're gonna do it. Guess I gotta go get a new drill bit.
So kind of a quick side note, we've been thinking a lot about our plans out here for finalizing the Quonset hut. And we've got some ideas. We're not sure if we're gonna put a loft or not. We don't want that to compromise the space for pulling in a truck with a huge trailer behind it. So we may not be able to do that, but we're looking into maybe adding something on the back for starting seeds, which would be awesome because if we don't do it while we're building this, we're gonna have to add something to the house. So we'll see. But I love this area, it's beautiful.
That is craftsmanship right there. Let's try it. We're going fully extended This is a 17-foot snow rake, I think they call it. And they can reach pretty far, but this Quonset hut is huge. So if we want to get to the middle, what we're gonna have to do is drive along here with someone on like a pallet on the forks of the tractor or on top of the roof of the Polaris. Well, let's see how it does without it. I'll go as high as I can go. Oh, I missed it. I feel like I'm a little too far extended. 1 second.
I think it works really good. You know, I was thinking too, if the notch ends up being a problem, you could always, you know, custom add in a little like brush there.
Yeah, there's a good foot on there. Doesn't work that good.
Well, it was just an idea, okay? It was a concept.
I mean, it would work. It just doesn't work that good. I think we've had a pretty typical snow year here this year, and we don't get a lot of snow here. But since we don't have the end walls up on the Quonset hut, those are kind of the weak point on it right now. So I took like some supports we made, and I have those propped up in there to kind of keep the ends up. I don't know, there's probably like a good foot and a half on top of it right now. And although this works, I think I'm having a hard time from down here on the ground. I think it'd be a lot easier if I was up, like I said, being driven along this. But man, that is gonna be a workout getting the snow off this thing. Good thing we're not doing it today though.
I just don't think we're gonna have to remove the snow on it. Nice, you know, thankfully.
I don't think, once we get the end walls up, I don't think we'll ever have to remove the snow off this thing.
Are you planning on removing this?
I'll get up there once this year, I think.
You mean next year?
Oh, I guess next year, yeah. A couple days.
Okay, hold on a second. It's gonna happen soon. Last task of the day is taking the dogs on a walk. And we've got them all bundled up in their boots. Bo can do a lot better in the cold temperatures than Bandit, but sometimes the cold does bother his feet. So being that it's like -8, we put his boots on. We try to get them out even in the cold months. We don't have daylight working with us, so they prefer to come out when it's sunny and warm, but clearly that's not what today has given us. Bandit's a lot more energetic, so usually he comes out a little bit more than Bo. Bo we don't have to take out as many times during the week. And we've got a really awesome dinner planned for tonight, something I've been wanting to make for a few years. Well, I think the traditional recipe uses beef, but we're gonna be using moose, and it's a French cuisine dish, and it is beef bourguignon. So we're using moose, and it's gonna be moose bourguignon. Pretty excited to make that. Takes a few hours, but it should be very tasty. This is Dasher, and that's Prancer, fine specimens. Go now, hon. Look at that brown on the back.
See that one right there? Well, we've been running the floor vent fan, not very much at all actually, and I just want to see if there's any temperature change. I think it was like 40 degrees down here last time. Let's see what it is now. it is 41.5, so not much change at all. Arielle didn't want me to run it very much because we have our veggies down here in our canned food. We don't want it to get that hot, but we're gonna go on a trip in a few days, and I think I'm gonna really crank it up down here and see if I can get it up to like at least 50 degrees would be awesome. And I'm also down here because we have such a good meal that Arielle just made for us. We're gonna drink something that we've been saving for quite a while. It's a little bit dusty because it's been down here in the crawl space, but this is blueberry mead that we made in the summer. So we've got that one, and we've got this one. So we're having mead with dinner tonight.
Our main course is gonna have some mashed potatoes with it, but since Eric and I are so hungry and have so many eggs, like a crazy amount of eggs, the girls are laying a lot right now, and we have a lot of chickens. So we've got some spring rolls we're gonna make with these little wrappers. Pretty hard to get them good looking, but they always turn out pretty tasty. This is just mousse, cabbage, carrots, mushrooms, onions, and some eggs, and some soy sauce and sesame oil. So it's gonna be pretty tasty.
Spring rolls are going to be an awesome appetizer. We've been making them for a little while. They are kind of difficult to roll up, but a couple of these turned out all right. We got a homemade dipping sauce. These will hold us over for the next couple hours because that's how long that stew is going to go on the wood stove.
That's also good. Tasty?
Oh yeah. They hold together until the first bite. And then flip them.
It's so good. I'm so hungry.
Yeah, these are really good.
Look at the little dumpling.
Oh my gosh.
These mushrooms have heated up. All right, folks, it's finally time to eat. We have let the stew go for three or more hours. So
3 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Just added some mushrooms. They should be heated up by now.
Yeah.
I gotta put some mashed potatoes first. We're gonna plate up right now because I imagine that stew is very hot. Look at these golden potatoes.
Yes. Thank you.
Sorry about that. I'm just gonna... I imagine a stew like this would taste awesome tomorrow when we have a lot of leftovers. But I'm sure it's going to taste pretty good today.
It is. And this stew, I don't know if you can tell from the camera, it turned to like gravy. So that's not like soup anymore. It's super thick.
I've wanted to make this recipe since I saw the movie Julie and Julia, I think is the order of it. It could be Julia and Julie.
Julia and Julia, I thought it was called.
It's Julia and Julia.
I don't know.
Okay, apparently I don't know.
I don't
but
know.
Since I saw that movie, I wanted to make this recipe. It's actually not overwhelming. It's not difficult. It's honestly much simpler than most of how we cook in the kitchen already. We made a few substitutions. We used our canned mushrooms rather than fresh mushrooms. And we obviously used mousse. We added shallots, and we also didn't have any bacon on hand, but we used a lot of lard. So I feel like that qualifies.
Pretty much bacon. Let's try the wine, because this is smoking hot here.
So this mead we made a while ago, and we wrapped it. We let it sit. We made it in the summer, and then we let it sit on our counter per someone's advice for about, what, like 2.5 months?
Almost 3 months it sat there with the little fermentation
lock. Is that what it is?
Fermentation lock.
Fermentation?
Airlock.
Airlock.
Airlock
okay.
on top.
Okay. And then when we racked it, it looked pretty good. Eric tried it.
It looks great, and that is this one here. So this is just the blueberry mead, and it was simple. So blueberry mead's like a honey wine. So we used our honey, we used champagne yeast, water, blueberries.
And through the process, it uses up all the sugar, so you end up with, this is like a super dry. They end up pretty dry.
This one's just as is, and then Arielle back sweetened this one with more honey.
And it's been for about a week.
Yeah, so they've aged for a little while. That one's a little sweeter. Let's give that one a try. I love the color on it. I mean, it's...
I personally don't really... I'm not a huge wine fan, so I like more like champagne, or not champagne, what is that called? Dessert wines. So I think that's why we sweetened it, was for me.
Is that good?
Sure, thank you.
Okay. I don't know if you can see that color. It's got a nice color. I'm
not actually a big wine drinker. or alcohol. I do like it. Do you think it's too sweet? I don't know if it's supposed to be that alcoholic. We failed to measure the alcohol before. Is that what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, we haven't done much winemaking. Apparently, you're supposed to measure it before when you start and then after. And we didn't measure it before. So we don't know the alcohol content, but we tried it before. And I'm going to tell you, it's pretty strong. This one it's probably a little sweet for my liking. This is how I thought it was going to turn out, really sweet. The regular one right here, it's not very sweet, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, do you remember how much honey I added? I can't even remember. Half a cup? I added a considerable amount.
You added quite a bit.
Again, we both don't know that much at all about wine or mead making. I was just going to add, I think we've kind of discussed this. The first time Eric made mead, we really liked it. I think we got to it in a much earlier stage when it was still like fermenting.
I didn't even know if there was any alcohol content to it.
Yeah, and we really both liked it. Whereas this, to me, I do like it. I don't know if I'd like, I already feel the alcohol. It's already, that's that strong. I feel like, I don't know. If I was going to make it again, I may make it a little differently.
Let me pour this.
It's not my favorite.
Let me pour that in yours.
That much.
Well, no, I want to compare it to the regular one here. So this one has not been back sweetened. This is just the pure mead. Try this one. I prefer this one way more. It's changed in flavor and taste.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we first tried this one, what was that, 2 weeks ago?
It's much like clearer.
Yeah, it was really strong, and now it actually tastes really pleasant.
Yeah, like
pretty
really
good.
Mild, light wine.
Yeah,
not light, but mild wine.
I like this one better than the sweetened one. That's just my opinion.
This tastes like a real wine to me, just a more mild, dilute version of it. I don't know if mead is supposed to ultimately taste like wine. That's what I'm getting. Maybe mead should have a slightly different flavor.
I can taste blueberries in it
Folks,
too.
you know what you're doing
pretty
out
good.
there? Let us know. I think it turned out okay. I think
Yeah.
we did a decent job. Well, actually, we've made blueberry. Did we make blueberry wine or blueberry mead before?
Blueberry wine we've made before.
Yeah, we didn't do that process quite right. The temperatures weren't good. I think this one turned out.
This is the best we've done, so that's good. Let's eat.
The potatoes are really good. Oh gosh, I just moved the wine out of the.
Okay, I'm just gonna go for
Page.
a carrot in the gravy. To me, this is like a beef stew, but just way better. I really like it. It has a ton of flavor.
It's an elevated, you said earlier, like a soup and you get in a can, but elevated. I don't know what it is about this. It's probably the wine. We cook a lot of soups and stews, and
The wine you just drank, or the wine in there?
this wine.
Gotcha.
Let's be clear on that. No, I feel like it's the wine. There's a flavor in there. It's not that I don't like it. It's just a little much. It's different.
It's
just
the
different.
wine.
Like, you know how when you taste tomato and it's like, if you don't like tomato, you're like, oh, there's tomato in there. It's probably the wine.
No, it is the wine for sure. I can taste it.
But the gravy is really good, especially with the mashed potatoes. I really like that.
So yeah, to me, this tastes just like probably the best stew I've ever had. Moose stew.
I'm not sure we've had stew much like this, yeah.
I mean, I probably would take like some celery or something in there.
You'd take a little more.
Some more veggies. Maybe some potatoes just to make like a regular beef stew. But oh my gosh, this is good.
I think, too, it makes a big difference, all the ingredients you start with. So the broth's good, the mousse is good, the carrots are delightful. But the potatoes are, I feel like the potatoes right now with the gravy is what I'm after.
I mean, the mousse is tender.
It is tender. It's super delicate, hon. It's just not like, you know how like if you slow cooked pork for it, maybe. It's almost there.
It's there. That's good. Man, that's good.
Yeah, so if you haven't made this, I would try it because I know when I first saw it, I was kind of like, that's like crazy. It's going to be crazy. And I finally looked up the recipe a while ago and I realized it was not crazy.
Super simple recipe.
Maybe we didn't cook it completely correctly. We tried to follow the Julia Child's recipe. So we tried to follow that as best as we could with what we had. Yeah, really, really simple. Well, like it. It's hearty. I think this would be a great leftovers.
I got nothing but great things to say about it. This is absolutely awesome.
Did you get the mushrooms? I kind of
Oh, yeah.
Would you use less wine? No?
No, it's perfect.
Same amount of wine.
After a cold day, you know what I mean? This is the meal you want.
All in all, I think we can both say it's a good meal.
It's a great meal. And we're just a couple days past the winter solstice, so the shortest day of the year, and it's been awesome so far. We're looking forward to the spring.
Looking for the light.
Looking forward to the daylight getting longer every single day from here on out.
We're going to cheers to the summer solstice, the next big event.
Hold on, let me get a spoonful here.
Big event. Cheers.
Cheers. Those carrots are so good in there.
I like it. I like it.
You don't seem
I
as
know.
enthusiastic as me. It's
We-
okay. I mean,
It's okay to have different tastes. I mean, generally, we're usually more like really. We meet up a lot closer. Sometimes I just feel for all the effort you put into a meal. There's honestly, I think it may be the tomato that's throwing me off. I don't know if I like that tomatoey paste. I'm a little more used to. Did you see? I put like 3 tablespoons in. I think it only called for a little less than that.
I mean that moose meat is falling apart right there.
No, it is, honey. It is. It's just not like a fatty piece of meat. It didn't have. It's moose. It had no fat on her.
It's moose.